Welcome back, everybody. We're going to finish up R.3 today, talking about dividing polynomials. So a couple of things about dividing polynomials before we actually get started with it. We want to make sure we do the following things. Check for standard form. Make sure both parts are in standard form before you even get started. Check for missing exponents. If you go from an x to the fourth to an x squared, you know you're missing x to the third. And we probably want to put that in there because it'll help us with lining up all the different parts of our division. Only work. I'm going to put this here. With first terms to start. Also, before we get started, let's do a review of just basic division. Let's say that I have 12 divided by 2,563. I say, okay, can I fit 12 into 2? No. Can I fit 12 into 25? Yes, I can. How many times? 2 times. Okay, what do I do with that 2 that's up there? Well, we take the 2 and we multiply it to the 12. 2 times 12 is 24, and we write it underneath here. We subtract the 24, the 25 to find out what's left over. Then we bring down the 6. And we say, okay, now, how many times does 12 fit into 16? Well, 12 fits into 16 one time. 1 times 12 is 12. 16 minus 12 is 4. Bring down the 3. And then we start again. 12 fits into 43. How many times? Well, only 3. 3 times 12 is 36. Then we subtract 43 minus 36 is 7. So at this point, we would either say, okay, now I have a remainder, or we would add a decimal point here and keep going. Well, for our purposes, especially with polynomials, we would stop here with the 7 and say that our answer is 213 with a remainder of 7. Well, that's written as plus 7/12. We have 7 remaining out of 12. Let's apply that now to our polynomials. So we're dividing this polynomial by 2m minus 1. So I start with, is this polynomial in standard form? We have 3, 2, 1, nothing. Perfect, it's in standard form. Are we missing any exponents? Is anything skipping? 3, 2, 1, nothing. Nope, nothing we're skipping. So we would put 2m minus 1 on the outside. 4m to the third minus 8m squared plus 5m plus 6. All right. Let's start here. So we checked for standard form. We checked for missing exponents. And the last part that we wrote here was we only work with first terms to start. Our first term is 4m cubed. And our first term out here is 2m. So it's the only thing that I'm looking at. And I want to know if I have 4m to the third divided by 2m to the first, what's left? Well, 4 divided by 2 is 2. If I have 3 m's and I take 1 out, then I have m squared left. All right. From there, over on this side with our example, we took that top number and multiplied it by the outside. So we're going to do the same thing here. 2m squared times 2m is 4m cubed. 2m squared times negative 1 is negative 2m squared. The next part we did was subtraction. So we're subtracting here. I'm going to distribute that subtraction inside. And if you've done your math correctly, this first term should always add to 0. 4m cubed plus negative 4m cubed is 0. So we did a good job. Negative 8m squared plus 2m squared is negative 6m squared. And then we're starting again. We have to bring down the 5m, just like we brought down the 6 over here. And we only look at first terms. So negative 6m squared divided by 2m. Negative 6 divided by 2 is negative 3. 2 m's take out 1 m, leaves us with m. And I'm color coding my steps. That might help you as well. Each step has its own specific color. So you see that we're repeating the steps. We're not really doing anything new. It's just we keep repeating the steps until we get to the end. Negative 3m times 2m is negative 6m squared. Negative 3m times negative 1 is positive 3m. From here, we are subtracting. I'm going to distribute that subtraction. Negative 6m squared plus 6m squared is 0. Always should happen. 5m plus negative 3m is 2m. Bring down our plus 6. And then look at our first terms again. We have 2m over 2m. This 2m here and the 2m from our original. 2m divided by 2m is a positive 1. And yes, we still have to write that. Still going to take that positive 1 and multiply it by the 2m and the negative 1. Still saying, okay, this is subtraction now. I'm going to distribute that subtraction. 2m plus negative 2m is 0. Perfect. Always should happen. And then 6 plus 1 is 7. 7 is our remainder. I don't have anything left over here to bring down, and I can't add decimals. So that means that our answer, erase a bunch of this so we have space for our answer. And we'll put it here. So our answer is 2m squared minus 3m plus 1. I got that from the top. And then our remainder is 7. That's a positive 7. So just like we did up here, plus 7 over 2m minus 1. Example 11. All right, we have these two polynomials. So we start with checking for, are they in standard form? X to the third, x squared, 150. Yes, it's in standard form. Are we missing a term? We go from 3 to 2 to no x, which means we're missing x to the first. So 3x to the third minus 2x squared. There is no x to the first, so we're going to write that as 0. And you can write just 0x, or you can write 0x to the first. I put the little 1 there to make it a little easier to see. That's what goes under our division bar. Dividing by x squared minus 4. Is that in standard form? Yes, it is. Is it missing a term? Well, it goes from square to nothing. Well, that's also missing an x to the first. Now, we may not need it, but we may need it. And so I always like having it there just in case. And it's always added with a 0 because technically it's not there. It's just a placeholder for us. All right. Only looking at the first terms, we have 3x to the third divided by x squared. Remember, there's a 1 there, so 3 divided by 1 is 3. I have 3 x's. I'm taking out 2 x's, so we're left with just x. I'm distributing that 3x to all 3 terms in front. 3x times x squared is 3x to the third. 3x times 0x is 0x squared. 3x times negative 4 is negative 12x. Hopefully you can see, I'm glad I added those zeros in there because it lines up my like terms. It makes it a little less confusing when we're trying to do our subtracting like terms. They're placeholders. So we're subtracting. I'm going to distribute that so I don't forget. 3x to the third minus 3x to the third is 0. Perfect. Always want that to happen. And then negative 2x squared plus negative 0, which really can't be negative, but anyway, is negative 2x squared. And then 0x plus 12x is positive 12x. Bringing down that negative 150. And then starting with our first term again. Negative 2x squared divided by x squared. Remember, that's a 1. So negative 2 divided by 1 is negative 2. And the x squareds reduce out. I don't have any left to put up here. From there, we have this negative 2 times x squared is negative 2x squared. Negative 2 times 0x is 0x. Negative 2 times negative 4 is positive 8. Subtracting again, I'm going to distribute that subtraction. Negative 2x squared plus 2x squared is 0. 12x minus 0x is 12x. Negative 150 plus negative 8 is negative 158. I don't have anything more to bring down. And if I try to divide 12x by x squared, I don't have enough x's. I only have 1 x here, and I need 2 in order to be able to pull any out. So I can't go any further, and that ends up to be our remainder. So to write our answer, we have 3x minus 2. That's from up here on the top. This is a positive 12, so plus 12x minus 158 over x squared minus 4, because we have to put it over whatever's out here. Now, if you put the 0x there, that's totally fine as well. Whatever you are most comfortable with, because it means the same thing. That completes our section R.3. Thanks so much. We'll see you next time.